My father was probably a workaholic. He used to jokingly say he did everything except for ballet dance. Um, he worked in the construction trades. And my grandfather, speaking of fathers and grandfathers, my grandfather, hmm, Harry Welts, he died when I was 3. Good morning, Iris. Good morning, Homestead Nomads. Um, my grandfather was the only person in my life that I knew loved me. He used to poke my belly and call me his stick in the muds. And but he passed away when I was 3 of colon cancer. I believe he died at home, but I don't really know much about it. I didn't know that anybody knew where he was buried or anything until 2015 when I had the blue van and was traveling across the country, and I kind of accidentally, in one of those coinky dink non coincident things, bumped into an aunt of mine and we took a road trip. That's how I found out. So, um, yeah, happy Father's Day to everybody. Um, there's a little, I'm going to turn the camera around for a little bit. Hey, Beth, welcome. Yes, guys, I got the water tanks. I got part of my packages that were from the post office. Somebody picked up for me, which included those covers for the IBC totes. So we now have, well, I've used some, but we got 900 gallons of water the other day. And met a really nice newer person. He's been out here 6 months. So I'm sitting on the back patio. I hope the signal's pretty good. I checked the battery. I'm at 68%. So hopefully this is going to be okay today. Yes, I got a bunch of these corrugated metal garden beds. And they're only that foot high, but I'm going to try to install them too high. So I'm going to have to bolt them, probably screw some extra holes, use some different bolts and make them longer, and connect them. And then I'll use some rebar or some of those T-posts, those green and white things are T-posts, to hold them up. And yes, I'm putting them kind of close to the cabin. I'm going to put 2 of them right there. And then I know I'm getting at this kind of later, but it is what it is. Um, it's what I'll do. Um, and then I'll plant it with whatever is appropriate at the time I get it pulled together. Part of what I'm going to have to do for that garden space is it's going to need shade, and I think I have enough materials and some old shade. I have an old shade sail that's still in pretty good shape. So I'm either going to use the cattle panels and make an arch out of it right there, but not attached to the cabin, or I'm going to sink, if I can get some cement here, I will sink four by fours in the ground and use grommets and put the shade up above. I'm not sure which way it will turn out. But before I can do any of that, I know you see that ground is got a lot of rock in that piece of block that's sitting there right now. First, I need to make a stone step for like a doorway out of the door. And then I've got to start bringing some more dirt over here and level that space up. That space slants from, this is the high side, and it slants down that way. So I need to level it up. And luckily, behind me, and yes, I'm being careful. Yes, it's a work in process right now, but behind me, that area is higher land from where that railroad tie is. It's higher and slopes down this direction. I'm going to cut that down where it's more level and use that dirt to fill in the other space. That probably makes some kind of sense to somebody. It's kind of sober around my house this morning. Some of you would have seen my post this week because I didn't only post it to the members, I posted it to the public. But we have a bobcat here and he's big. And Wendy chased it away. It was drinking at the pond. Now, I don't mind it drinking at the pond. The pond is a little distance away, but it's a very big bobcat. At first, I wasn't sure if it was a bobcat or if it was a cougar. It's a bobcat. I saw it clearly. I just took the SD card out of my game camera, but I'm going to have to download software in or an app in order to see the pictures. So, Karma has been nervous almost a week. And he's been like trying to come in and sleep in the house at night, but I need him to kill the mice and the rats. And he just was the last 2 or 3 nights acting a little weird. And I've been like, it's okay, buddy. We're going to be all right. We got this. I'll help you. You stay safe. I'll keep you safe too. Well, it was hot yesterday. Now, I never looked at the thermometer, but I've never seen it be 100 degrees here. I've seen it be in the high 90s. And I expect it was probably about, it felt like it must have been about 95 or 97 yesterday. So I went ahead and well, because I have the water, right? I was able to take a shower last night and I really relaxed after taking a shower. And, I'm sitting around with Wendy and Karma with wet hair, just kind of sitting around in the evening. And it just, it got to a point where I was like, I'm going to bed, guys. And it might have been early. I don't even know. But I Wendy tried to wake me up once during the night, and I couldn't wake up. And I heard her, and she will like scratch with her nails near me to try to get me to wake up. Well, she got my hair once, and I went, Wendy, what? No, come and stay. I don't know if something happened and she was trying to tell me, but Karma was not here this morning like normal, like he normally is. And so it's a little sober around here. Wendy's been hunting for him. Wendy won't eat. I haven't even seen Wendy have a drink of water. I did make a cup of coffee for myself. I've done some things around, but I hope that we didn't lose Karma or that he's not hurt somewhere. Karma is not he never learned how to meow or talk. So he doesn't have a normal sound. The only time I ever heard Karma make a sound was the night when he was in the big fight and I couldn't see. That's months ago, and I couldn't see what he was fighting. I now know that it probably was the bobcat that he was fighting. Okay, because his ear got ripped. His left ear got ripped, torn. Um, but I've never heard him make any other sounds. So if he was hurt, I don't know that I'd hear him. And I've looked around and I haven't found him. And I'm going to let it just be for a minute. He's a really brave, smart cat. He knows where home is. He's kind of afraid of other people. Um, so I doubt that he would end up at somebody else's house, but I could track him if I knew where he was going. Um, but anyway, so it's kind of just somber, sober, quiet around here today. I moved some of my bird feeders over closer to the little pond because um, the I just want to keep all that stuff a little further away from the house. And I got a new bird feeder to hold suet blocks, and it was way bigger than I expected it to be. And it was fine for the tree that they were in. It has helped tremendously. The little birds, like the titmouses and things, they can get in it, but the big birds, like the jays, whatever stellar jays or whatever I have here, they can't get in it. And that will help because bird seed's expensive too. But anyways, no, Karma doesn't have a chip. Karma never has seen a vet. Um, he's a good boy. He's brave. He has killed big rabbits and big rats and, whatever. Anyway, so deep breath. I have to let that go and let that be in the great creator's hand and whatever is best for the all. I'll deal with it. And I will be fine. Would miss him terribly, but we'll be fine. I hope he's okay. I hope he's okay and taking care of himself and comes home. But whatever. Deep breath on that one, okay? So that's what's going on around here today. Um, for being the male figure in my life, for being the male figure in my life. Why do we need to do that? Whatever. Because somebody figured out that they could sell stuff. If they made it some kind of holiday where people would want to buy stuff, then you can remember your dad once a year and buy stuff for people or something. I don't get that. Whatever. Okay. Now I'm going to go back and look at comments with the three uppercase Q's, which is how I know to check for what to answer for questions or talk about. If somebody has a subject, please let me know. We can focus a little bit on male figures in people's lives, the fathers and grandfathers figures. Um, and we can talk about whatever. I don't know. As far as updating you guys on a couple other things before I go look at those cues, um, I called and talked to Stan this week. I'm going to take the tracker in either tomorrow or Tuesday early. Um, the I feel feelings are not truths. Just let's get that out in the open, okay? Feeling and it's interesting to me how somebody will only hear part of what you're saying before they start to an answer. And so he's answering me before I finished my sentence a couple of times. And I was like, that's not what I was saying. I was saying this. Oh, oh. And I was like, so I just wanted you to know that I hadn't driven the tracker since I was at the shop the last time. Well, I take it back. The last two times I drove it was coming home from the shop, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago. And then I took it once for groceries. So I haven't driven it in almost 2 weeks. And he goes, why? And I was like, well, when I was driving, he's not waiting for an answer. Some people do that. Anyway, um, so I told him about the sluggishness, and then I told him what the expert person on transmission had told me about that. He wanted me to be sure that it wasn't that my torque converter was starting to go bad. And Stan was like, it's not your torque converter. Why would you even think that? And he didn't say that stupid, but he went close to saying that, where it was like, okay, whatever. I'm trying to be careful. I don't have 8 vehicles kicking around. I'm not the owner of a shop with money. I have one vehicle, and that's all I got. And it's all I can afford, and I can hardly do that. Deep breath. So then I tried to get him to pay attention and listen to me. That the guy said, first check that because the sluggishness, you don't want it to be that. And second, check the other thing. Well, when I said the second thing, he got excited and then said, oh, that's good. That's probably exactly what's wrong. He goes, I didn't think to check for that. And I said, well, this guy would take a phone call from you and help you to further diagnose what's going on. And he goes, oh, can I have the contact? And I was like, well, of course you can. That's part of. So I don't know, but it's strained, and it still just drives me freaking crazy that there's the possibility that one person doesn't like me but lied about it, or to my face acts like they do, but I can't really tell because I don't have interaction with that person much. But so there is that. I don't know. But working with men is different too. Let me just say that. But anyway, so I'm taking the tracker in either early tomorrow or Tuesday. And I probably will try to go tomorrow and just get it over with. Because I don't even want to see anybody from over there right now. I'm just not in the space where I want to deal with any of it. I don't want to talk to anybody about it. All that, right? So, um, I told you I was going to go check your comment. So with the uppercase Q. So let me go look for that. Yes, Wendy's sitting down. Um, but yeah. Anyway, so that's where I will start with that tomorrow. I've been working on projects because of the bobcat. I've had to shore up the yard fence, which is not yet finished again, because when we had to do the footers for me to get my occupancy permit, which I do have for this dry cabin with an alternative composting toilet system in Apache County, and yes, I have an occupancy permit. Um, I had to do some things in order to get that, but in order to get that, um, I we had to kind of tear up some of my landscaping in the yard. So now I'm redoing some things, and the yard fence, I had never cemented the posts in the ground, and so I've got to pick up some cement in order to cement those posts into the ground now, like where the gates are and where it meets the cabin, and that way I won't have to worry about Wendy being able to get out. I shored it up. I changed a couple of things. I've decided that Ozzy's cactus garden is going to be on the outside of the fence again. I like that better. I don't know why I was trying to bring it inside, but so I'm moving Ozzy's cactus garden back to the outside of the yard fence. And the yard fence is more about keeping some control over my small dog Wendy. For anybody who doesn't know Wendy, here she is. Hi, baby. You can go out your door. You have chewies. You have treats. You have treats. You have water for drink. You can use your Wendy door. You know how. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You take care of yourself while I'm busy. So, so yeah. I guess I'm going to check on your comments now. I was just checking the battery life on the phone and stuff. I think that's where I'm at right now. But because I haven't been driving, like I don't have ice, I don't have any fresh food, but that doesn't mean that we're not going hungry. We're okay. It has been really hot. I had picked up a pretty decent used shower curtain that already had shower curtain rings on it at a thrift store, and a couple of small, pretty colored, uh, okayish curtains. And because I had already gotten the curtain rod for in the cabin for the big windows, and I thought, since I've been weird the last couple of weeks, weird with my thoughts, right? I was like, oh, let's get those out. Let's see if keeping some of the sun out of the cabin keeps it cooler because it's been incredibly hot. Um, and so anyway, I put those up. I don't love. Okay, so the shower curtain I put in the shower house. I'm hoping that this summer, July, I'm gonna order the sink if somebody doesn't buy my list. In my list, it's like an old-fashioned laundry sink, but it already has fitted with the kitchen sink drain, and it is on a stand with legs. And so it's not cheap. It's $230, $40, something like that. But if somebody wants to help me buy it, I am July. I need to get that here because that's going on this screened in patio out here. But it's been so hot. I'm just trying to like cool things down and be as safe as we can be in the meantime. So, okay, let me go back and check y'all's comments for and questions and stuff because I see that I see things scrolling by my face. So, Iris, Homestead and Nomads, Beth, welcome, welcome. Okay, I'm looking for cues. Signal's good. Yay, thank you so much, Beth. Um, Beth, again, please use uppercase Q's in front of. Yeah, you notice I see those uppercase Q's and I'll read the comment. So Beth was saying, please use those for questions or comments for me to see and all. Okay, let's go a little further. Liana, I see your name. Hi, Liana. Liana, I see your name. Hi, Liana. Okay, looking for uppercase Q's. Oops. Uppercase Q's. I don't see any yet. Uh, Beth saying to somebody 847 Global, please put 3 Q's in front of your comments if you want me to see it and read it. Okay. Beth, prayers for Karma's safe return. Thank you, Beth. I hope so too. But whatever is best for the all that is all, I just keep trying to, whatever the great creator needs. Lesa sees the 3 Q's as she scans the screen and she knows to read the comments. Yep, there you go. On Sunday morning lives with me. I have been called Simply Lesa for a long time. I got that name in a dream. Hey, Sonia, I see your name. He will, who says 847 Global? He will be back, dear. I have faith. Thank you so much. I hope he will too. That's correct post with the 3 uppercase Q's at 847 Global. Yes, and thank you for doing that, guys. May have to trap the bobcat and send him 75 miles away. I don't know around here. It is so rural where I currently am. I'm in Apache County. I am a lot of miles, 100 miles north of St. John's. Anyways, or 80 or something. I'm a lot of miles north of St. John's. We are the wild place where things get moved to. I know that one of the neighbors one year had to kill a bobcat on his property. Sometimes that has to happen. 847 Global says, I would say start with the fuel filter. Oh, it's not my fuel filter, honey. We already know kind of what's wrong. So I have a 1998 Chevy Tracker. It is the 1.6 liter 16 valve 3-speed automatic transmission. So the first fact that it's an automatic transmission, that is not the good one. The good one only came in the 4-door models, and it was a 4-speed and had overdrive. I get that one. But anyways, so my engine blew 2.5 years ago while I was on a trip 12 and a half hours away in rural Nevada. You think I'm rural here. Those folks have a little more of a highway closer to them where I was, but it was 4 hours away to an auto parts store. So it was real rural too. So there's been a whole saga of me living in that tracker, and mine's a 2-door. But again, sorry guys, I'm trying to stay still when it works. So, so that whole saga of trying to get an engine, when we realized that my block cracked, trying to get an engine, getting scammed, buying another engine, it costing a lot of money. I'm on a fixed income, I get $1,000 a month. It's hard to do these things to start with. So I ended up picking up what at the time I called a hoopty car for $1 and driving it, well, putting a lot of money in it to fix it, and then driving it back during a snowstorm coming through Flagstaff and Belmont. I was in a like 8-inch snowstorm, and then got home, drove that for over a year, and then I forgot. May last year, Stan and I took a truck and a trailer and went up and got my tracker and all the engine and engine parts that I had bought. And then he brought it back to his shop, and he said he was going to build my. Well, he just got it done a few months ago, and we sold the blue car that I in order to pay for the work that was done on the white car. So he built me a new engine. And he did not tell me. Why do mechanics think people know stuff they don't know? He didn't tell me that there were going to be maintenance things to do at 1,000 miles. He didn't tell me that. He told me, make sure the oil gets changed. First, we're going to do this. And I was working for him. So it was first, we're going to do this. Then a couple of weeks, we're going to change the oil again. And then the next time we change the oil, we're going to put full synthetic in it. I was like, okay, no problem. But he didn't say, now, when you've driven it about 1,000 miles, I need to adjust the valves and I need to check that the spark plugs are doing what they're supposed to do and kind of check your what's it called, kind of do another tune up. And I was like, you didn't tell me that we needed to do these things. How am I supposed to know this? I don't know this. So anyway, so the problem had been because I live so far away from a town. It's 40 miles to any store from where I where my cabin is. And so I need my check engine light to actually work as a check engine light. I don't need it to always be on because, oh, that thing's wrong, but because I don't know anything. I'm not mechanically minded. So for me to fix something or to know what's happening, that's not the way it works. It's not like I can say, I bet this is wrong with it. Because I'm not like that. My creativity and passions are in a different area. So so the check engine light kept saying the O2 sensors. Well, we changed the O2 sensors, and then 2 weeks later we changed them again. And I did find out that I'd forgotten. We sent the first set of O2 sensors, we returned them because we didn't know if they were bad or what. But I ended up going from the, regular O2 sensors to getting the high end ones, which were much more expensive. And anyway, so that solved the O2 sensor code, but at one point it was still reading that it was running rich, but I think that stopped. But then it kept saying that my transmission torque converter clutch solenoid was the code. Okay, so I bought one, we had it installed, the light's still on, some other things are still on. So then, like I said, when I finally, so I lost my job, And then when I finally am trying to figure out what's going on, it the last time that they had messed with it was the day I lost my job, which I don't have a good reason for that, but whatever. Um, so so I know that they had messed with the solenoid I bought, and I saw them trying to solder wires together, and I didn't know what they were doing. And it had been explained to me that the computer must not be reading the ground on the solenoid or something like that. That's the best I got for the understanding of it. And but I was like, so what are we going to do about it? And rather than me getting an answer, I was talked down to and told that I was pretty stupid and I should just put tape over the check engine light and ignore it. And I was like, I live too far away from humanity to not have my thing work correctly. Anyway, so so now it took me a while to kind of deal with the fact that I didn't have a job, and then my money's, because I didn't have the job anymore, my money got cut in half. So I'm back to $1,000 a month, and been scared to drive the car because when I drove it home the last time, it was sluggish. Well, when Stan heard the sluggish comment, he said, "Oh, your valves need to be adjusted. You're supposed to do that, right? Within 1,000 miles of the getting the new engine." And I was like, "When were you going to tell me?" But he so it's not the fuel filter. Okay, let's go. Uh, is it slugs or is it a fuel issue? Oh, well, I think I just explained that 847. I'm shortening your thing. Uh, what year of tracker is it? Mine happens to be a Chevy. They're all the same. They're all Suzuki's. And mine is a 1998. But I think I told you that. And am I in Arizona? Yes, I am. I am in Apache County, Arizona. 847 global. So, can you drill a well or other restrictions on the land for wells? No, I am on private property. I own my own acreage. I only answer to the county. Okay? There are many ranch communities around me. I am not on a ranch community. You can drill a well. I'm not drilling a well, but that's because the cost of a well around here is like the cost of selling all your kids and grandkids or something. I don't know. Arvia with G, hey! Oh, it's so nice to see you. You're in Oregon, okay. I'm assuming you're camp hosting. Man, G, you never should have sent me that first Sasquatch vlog thing because it's so funny. And I just needed to be distracted so much, but those are so hilarious. I keep watching them off and on. It's good to see you, G. I'm glad you're around. 847 global. You may be, whoops, you may be able, uh-oh, I lost, whoops, I moved it. What happened? Oh no, did I accidentally? It's Arizona. So can you, yeah, I already answered that. Hi everybody, it's G. I already did that. Oh, somebody took that one out. Okay. I thought I hit the button. 847. Uh, do you need that? How's my day going? My day's going okay. You probably missed the comment. My cat was not here this morning like he normally is. And I hope he's okay because I really have a big bobcat. He is big like a huge German Shepherd. Big, big. And how I know that he's here is I have a little pond. I call it a pond. It's a little bucket of water over under a tree, 100, 150 yards away from the cabin, okay? And I can see it over there. And the other day, Wendy's out in the front, not inside the yard space, okay? I have a yard fence. She was out just running around. I wasn't making her stay in the fence. She she's a pretty good dog, and I was just letting her be out. And all of a sudden, she starts barking like crazy, and I'm like, I am not checking again. She's barking at a rabbit or something, and she just didn't calm down. And so I went to look. She's barking at a bobcat drinking out of the pond. That pond probably holds 15 gallons of water or something like that. Anyway, it's sort of like a wash tub thing from Tractor Supply. Anyway, she chased it away and followed it. And so I quickly texted my neighbor, and as I'm texting, I went, forget that. I hit the dial it button because they have Starlink. And I was like, gun, come now. And I hear his vehicle start up, and he gets over here and he's like, what? Big bobcat. But Wendy has it. Wait a minute. There comes Wendy. I was like, oh, shoot. She came back. I thought she was just going to keep following it, but she came back. She must have scared it far enough away, but it ran away from her. How many times is that going to happen? Right? So now I'm being more careful to keep her in, but because, well, I was being more careful from that moment on, but to keep her inside the yard fence. But my really good rodent killer, rabbit killer cat wasn't here this morning, so that's how my day's going. Okay, looking for uppercase Q comments. 847. Uh, that sounds like he's a scam artist, shade tree mechanic, and sounds like he messed up the wiring when he put it in. Actually, no. Let me make sure I'm being clear. Stan is a good mechanic. He knows what he's doing building an engine. I have a 1998 tracker. It's an old vehicle. Plastic parts crack in air and get dry rotted in Arizona. We have crazy heat here. This tracker sat under a tree in in Salton City, near the Salton Sea, California, for years before I got it. So it just sat getting dry rotted, okay, in the heat. And so I can't blame this problem on Stan at all. He's a freaking good mechanic. I've been learning to make sure that I get clear communication. Because when you get a really good, talented mechanic, machinist, engineer, they're often their communication skills not so great. And I'm not saying everybody, please understand that. But I I had been learning anyways. Um, but so he didn't mess my vehicle up. Just I think he got stuck not knowing what to do. And rather than let me
help figure out. I know all the top Suzuki mechanics in the country. I have talked to them all or met them over time. And so I should have just, had he just included me in, had he respected me enough to have said, hey, Lesa, why don't you see if you can't help me figure out, right? I, it was part of my job when I worked for him to do that for other things. But I had trouble at work with the girl who I was hired when she was gone. She didn't contact anybody for over a month. So I got the job and was doing the job. And one day she just showed up. And then it was like, well, now what am I supposed to do? And she wouldn't let me do my job then. So I had to like finagle to be able to get work. And I fussed at her more than once because I got tired of the interruptions and the rudeness and the whatever. But if somebody won't let you do your job, there's only so much you can do. So um, I tried to communicate with Stan about what was going on, but I never got clear help with the situation. And then I was told that he was going to let her go. And then I was gone one day and then got sick, so I was out on a Friday. Then I was out on a Monday and a Tuesday because I got sick while I was gone. And I called him and talked to him about it, and I come back and I'm the one let go. So it's like, okay, I see how this worked. And how's that working for you? But it made me just wonder about, even, do I dare even talk to you? I don't even know. But so I hear what you're saying. I can understand why it sounds like that, but that's not what happened. He didn't mess it up. I trust his skill. I would send people to him. But now I would send people to him and say, make sure you have a list of questions and don't leave without the answers. And make sure you write the answers down or get them in a text, because things can get lost and forgotten. And part of what I was good at the office was making a way for there to be enough of a paper trail, because he didn't want things computerized, but to make enough of a paper trail so that if you went back in, anybody could go to the book and look it up and tell you what was going on. And I don't know how that's going to work without me there, but whatever. Maybe, but anyways. So he's not a scam artist. He can build an engine, and he knows Suzuki's like nobody's business. But he doesn't really, I don't think he loves the electronics, but just like anybody, he just kind of got stuck on it, you know? All right. How deep for water on average? Around Apache County, it's very different depending on where you are. Down in town, water's like 100 feet, 200 feet, something like that. Out here where I am, it can be 600 feet. Um, I have had mine water witched. There's evidently water all over the place up here. But I cannot afford a well. The the company, the family who drills most of the wells in Apache County is Nielsen's. And I mean, most people's wells are like $50,000 or more. And like, I don't have money like that. That's not happening. Okay. Um, you removed a comment. I thank you, 847 Global. You must have removed it just as my finger was touching it. All right, looking for the three uppercase Q's. They're the comments I talk about or read. Um, I didn't see if Babs is on here, But I want to thank Babs publicly so freaking much for the flashlight that she sent me. She had, after the fact, watched the video where Karma had been in a fight with something. And it probably was the bobcat before it was big. Um, and she had said, please, she had said, oh my gosh, you got to have this flashlight. And I got it. And at first I was like, another thing to take care of. And I love her. Of course, I appreciate it. But with the bobcat, that flashlight. So she got me a tactical flashlight. I don't know if she got it off of Amazon, but it's tactical. That thing, the lumens are crazy on it. And it has the strobe light that, oh, that'll scare anything away. But I'm so grateful to have it because now that I got the Bobcat, if it's dark at night, I can just shine that light. I can see what's going on. And both Karma, the cat that isn't here this morning, and Wendy, um, both of them understand when I put that flashlight on that I'm doing something. And so they're not afraid of it. But the other animals are afraid of it. So it works out. Anyway, I see Donna Kay. Hi. So, more questions, more comments you guys want me to talk about today? Let me check the battery level. We're at 48. We're pretty good for right now. It looks like we've had a pretty good signal for a while. I hope the pictures stayed good. Um, I'll be glad when I go out tomorrow after we work on the tracker again. Then I'll know how much money I have left for the rest of the month. Because what's the date today? Are we at the 15th? Oh yeah, it must be the 15th, halfway of the month. I always check my money often, but I always check about the 15th. And around the 15th, I'm often checking to make sure is there enough emergency food around? Is there enough extra like dry cat and dog food, which I don't feed the animals often, but in case there's an emergency or in case the car doesn't work, right, and I need to stay put, um, like I have been. So I usually take stock on the 15th and make sure if I need to buy any extras, I do. So I have missed having icy drinks. So I'll be glad to get some ice when I hope this heat wave is over. But anyway, I'll be glad to get some ice and hopefully I'll be able to get to American Arrow down in St. John's and hopefully I should call them. Hopefully they'll have some beef bacon. I'd like to get a package or two for myself, and I'd like to get a package for Leanna. Um, and if they had that and the non-refrigerated eggs, the ones they have, I can eat. I don't love eggs, but I can eat those, and it does stretch the budget. So I see one queue. I usually look for three people. Um, where are you from, ma'am? Who is this? Harsh Yadav. I am from Apache County, Arizona. I did not grow up here. I have been a world traveler. I am not done traveling. I don't know what that means right now, but I gotta finish the simplifying and straightening back up the landscaping around the cabin, getting the new water totes. This is the way most people do their water. I have water totes. Most likely in the future, that black tank will become my filter system. What do I mean by a filter system? Because a lot of people don't understand that. But By filter system, I mean it most likely will get a layer of charcoal and a layer of sand and a layer of rock that the water can go through, so it's filtered to be safe for drinking on the other side. And then all the water would be run from those totes, from tote to filter. And yes, I can pull water out of them at their own spigots, but from tote to filter for use. I also have one more tote is right beside the shower house. At some point this summer, I'm hoping, not hoping, we will get the gutter removed from the side of the house that was supposed to be on the shower house. And so that gutter goes on the shower house. The shower house water runs into the IBC tote for the shower house. That one is the shower water and stuff like that. And I did get a black garden hose for making hot water for showers. I don't have it hooked up yet because I just haven't done that. But I just got the water delivered. I'm not as depressed as I had been. I get depressed, just like everybody. I mean, crap, stuff happens, and I was starting to feel like, well, am I ever gonna have my car running right and not having a problem with it? What? Why? Great creator, why, right? Why am I still dealing with vehicle after all the money, all the hassle, all the sacrifice, right? But it's better. So it's way better. So um, basically, I'm at kind of the big projects are getting this ground leveled back out. We had to move everything that was in this area where the garden bed is going to be. That I have to move that. I just put it there to look at it recently. Now I'm going to move it, and I'm going to move that little pile of wood, and then I'm leveling that ground out. I told you guys this in the earlier in the video. Leveling that ground out, then I'm putting the garden beds back in, and then I got to put shade over it because it's Arizona. It's high desert here. It gets hot. It gets hot as crap, and it sunburns plants, and so why do that? And so the oh,
What happened? Oh, I hit something with my hand. Sorry. I broke my tripod. Anyways, go with Amish technology 847 global, and you can preserve foods for extended periods without modern equipment. Absolutely. I grew up in Maine, off grid, and not my whole life, but a lot of time. And so I have those skills and I do those things anyway. I actually have an air dehydrator that last year it was in the shed over there. Before that shed right there became my shower house. Okay. And I would dehydrate whatever fruits and vegetables I got, or I would make jerky. So now that I have screened in this back patio, I need to find a place where I can hang it. It hangs, where I can hang it up so I can use it. I was thinking about that yesterday. Um, the okay, what else was I going to tell you? Um, Shade cloth is your friend out here. Oh, the sink. Probably when I first get it, it will just drain into a bucket, and I will dump the bucket. And I will make a way where I'm dumping it into the garden. Okay. Um, I have not decided if I want to just make a drain that goes over to the garden. Um, guys, would you please use three uppercase Q's in front of any questions or comments that I need to read, because the comments scroll by so fast. That's helpful for me to know. I focus on those three cues, and then I'll read the comment and I'll answer it. Um, Rather than doing, some people on their live streams want you to donate money in order for them to read your comment. I do this instead. If you want to donate money to help me out, I don't I don't have any problem with that. You may donate money, and you could give me lots of little hearts and smiley faces and whatever else you want to give me. Okay, let's see. So, the Amish technology thing, I have a couple of hand pumps on the property. I'm debating. I also have a marine foot pump. I decided yesterday I'm going to put the marine foot pump in here on that, near that laundry sink for pulling the water from the water tanks. That's what I've decided I'm going to do. And then um, I most likely will put a hand pump on the shower house stuff, because when I take a bath, I most often fill a bucket or container, and I have a USB rechargeable pump that I drop down into the bucket, and that's how I get good water pressure. And because if you can't tell, I have some pretty long hair and stuff. So, anyways, that's okay. Let me go back and check your comments. I would get bunnies for composting to make my own soil. 847, go right ahead. Um, Rabbits are make good compost for gardens. Absolutely. Absolutely. We have lots of jackrabbits around here. Um, and that's fine. I don't want to raise rabbits. I won't eat them. I follow the Old Testament food laws from the Bible, and so I won't eat them. So I don't see a reason for me to raise them. So, but if you want to, it's good. And if I had neighbors who were raising rabbits and they had extra rabbit poop, I would probably take some off and on to add to my soil for my gardens. 847 Global. I would start dry panning the desert for gold and gemstones. Well, good luck with that, and go for it if you like that. That's not my thing. I grew up near the ocean. I like seashells. So, although I found fossilized seashells here, um, but I'm on Anasazi land, and I walk out and see pottery laying on the ground every day. I don't see big pieces, but I see pieces because it's free range cattle here too. And the cattle have walked on this land so much that they, if anything was whole, they would have broken it up. So, but if you want to do the prospecting, go for it. I have lots of friends that prospect. Are you all solar? Yes, but I'm low tech solar. Now, that doesn't mean I don't have skills, because, I used to work for IBM, and so I used to do some pretty big, I know how to do things, okay? I'm sorry, Wendy. Wendy sat in gum at the farmer's market 2 weeks ago, and I'm still trying to get the gum out of her fur. Eh, and she's sitting on my lap, so she just got mad at me because I was like pulling at it. Okay. So I am all solar, but because of the changes we made this winter, I was We removed all the solar off the roof. I had a couple of older battery packs die this winter. I sold a couple. So, how do I? Well, what do I need solar for? Right? So, I needed a light. So, I got a solar shed light that has its own solar panel. The solar panel's up there, and that shed light is inside the cabin. So I have a light up high in the ceiling, but I also have small rechargeable individual lights that I also can move around and use. And I have candles. And I have a couple of older oil lamps, but I don't really use them much. I might start using the copper Dites one that I found when I was cleaning somebody's old cabin. Um, and they gifted it to me. I might start using that one this winter in this space because it will help with the heat, but I haven't decided. I could just put a string of solar lights in it and make it just be a solar lantern. I've done that with them. Um, any experience hints on foraging local area on what? Okay, I'm not sure what you mean, Sherry. Maybe okay. 847 global. Yeah, there's plenty of 4-H stuff down in town, and I don't need to be part of that. So is Wendy a gummy bear now? Yes. Yes, she is. That was good. That was real good. 847. Yes, she has gummy butt. Um, um, she was acting weird at farmer's market, and I was like, "What is going on? Why are you underneath the car?" Of course, under the car shaded, so I wasn't really minding it. But I was like, "What is going on?" And she kept like messing with her button. She went to move, and the string of gum, and I went, "Oh no! How are we gonna clean that mess up?" And I tried oil, but whatever. Mushroom. Oh, there's no mushrooms. Well, I shouldn't say there's no mushrooms where I am. Flagstaff area has a lot of mushrooms. That's 3 hours away. Okay. Where I am, there are these little mushrooms that come up, but I have not messed around to find out if they're edible. I just didn't do that. Um, there's plenty of stuff here. The shaggy bark junipers, the berries are edible and make a good seasoning. The inner bark, I can't remember, is good for something else. And then I have pignons. I have some pretty tall pignons for my area. And the pignons, the young green pine cones, you can make a syrup with them. They have a lot of vitamin C in them. And this year, I am planning, even if I've got to use coconut sugar or honey or I'm not sure what, or torinat. I'm not going to say it right. Toronado sugar. You know what I mean, raw sugar. Um, you get the little green pine cones before they open, and you just layer them with sugar and make a syrup, and it's good for a cough syrup or as like a sweet thing. Um, there's Mormon tea that grows wild here. There's the fruit on the prickly pear and the other cactuses. That is atun. Is that the right? Anyways, there's the fruit on the cactus that's very sweet. There's a bayberry, Juanita. here in Spanish. It's Juanita. That is a really good berry if you can beat the birds to it. Um, and of course, the pine needles make a really good pine needle tea. I'm wanting to do the same thing another neighbor just tried. They tried making pine soda. And so they used some of the pinon needles, and I can't remember what else, but they were making a soda with it. And I would like to try doing that. I agree. I think he's going to bring me a bottle of that. Um, so those are things I'm aware of quickly. I'm sure there's lots of other things. Amaranth grows wild here. So does sunchokes grow wild here. If you can get them to start, you can grow them well. Uh, I also planted asparagus up on my property, and I have not had to do anything to that asparagus. It just keeps growing. So I'll be doing more asparagus. Now that I know some of those things, whether I eat it or not, I'll plant it for the next guy. It's fun to plant, but long as I can get it started somewhere, we'll just let it do its thing. So 847 global. Yeah, my braid is past my waist. I have had my braid at my ankles before. It just I could grow hair. Of course, I also don't take showers and use let me rephrase that cuz somebody will jump on that. Um I don't take showers like most people take showers in the world. And I don't use products like most people in the world use products. I have had an autoimmune disease. It was diagnosed a few years back. And for years, I didn't know why. I had multiple horrible allergies. And one of my allergies is to propane, which in the off grid world is kind of odd to people. How can you survive without propane? Well, there's other ways of doing stuff. So I just have to get creative, right? So, so what I Guys, would you please remember to use 3 uppercase Q's in front of any comment that you want me to read, or it could be a question you want me to answer, or it could be a subject you'd like me to talk about. If you would put those 3 uppercase Q's, they're the comments that I read out loud. Okay? So you do have a super long braid. So because of the autoimmune, but not knowing I had it, because I knew I was super allergic to all kinds of things, I have over the years learned to do things kind of different and old school different. And it works for me. And it's part of why my hair grows like it grows. It's part of why I generally can stay pretty healthy. But I have to be outdoors a lot. And that's why when I travel in a vehicle, if I'm traveling any length of time, or if I'm wanting to do some like nomad thing, or get out of the heat and go to Colorado or Oregon, or get out of the cold in the winter and go down to Baja or Mexico or somewhere, and I'm going to drive, my little tracker is great because it forces me to get outside because there's no place to be inside. So that's the way those things work. That's why I make some of the choices that I do. Now, don't get some crazy idea that I don't wash my hair and I don't take a bath. That's not true. But I brush my hair more than I washed my hair. Do I use shampoo? Once in a while, but I don't like to, for one. And two, my hair's healthier if I just use water. So for a lot of years, I only used water. Now sometimes I'll use baking soda. It depends. But sometimes I'm working hard and it gets sweaty, and you go like that, and your fingernail gets gross. Well, maybe I'll put a little soap in there. Um, yeah, I don't have to be gross. Um, I just ordered my first, I know, late to the party on this one, right? I have known about bidets for my whole life. I've known about them my whole life. I've never used one because I never had to. And when I was hiking, long distance hiking and stuff, I wanted one, but I couldn't afford it. I was just trying to survive. So I finally ordered one. It should be waiting for me in a lockbox at the post office. So when I go in town, I have a whole mess of errands to do when I take the tracker in. But the tracker's first, then I'll be able to check my funds and I'll be able to go do the extra things like, picking up ice, checking the grocery store, seeing if Ace Hardware's got a couple of bags of ready mix. If I can get 4 bags of ready mix in the car and bring them home, I will. Um, but those are the kinds of things, bring home a few groceries, maybe get some more uh, cheap chicken feed from Diamond C Feed Store. He'll sell you just a couple of dollars worth of chicken feed. And that's what I feed the big birds. So the Mexican jays and ravens and whoever else comes out to the bird feeders, they end up getting chicken scratch because I can just buy a bag of a couple of dollars worth and I put it in a plastic Folgers can. Somebody was throwing some away. So I'm going to go back down and check. Let me check comments with uppercase Q's. There's a few. I see my moderators have been busy smacking some troll. Somebody who is this? Something blue? You have a question. Well, blue, I don't see your question. Please use 3 uppercase Q's and ask the question. And if it's reasonable, I will answer it. Okay. 847 global. Doesn't asparagus take 3 years to start? Yeah, sort of, kind of. So here's the deal. It's a bulb that you put in the ground. And so you put the bulbs in the ground in the fall. Doesn't really matter. Give it plenty of compost. Doesn't really matter whether the temperature is super great or bad or whatever. Doesn't matter if your bulbs look funky or not. I bought bulbs that looked dead from Walmart. I got 2 bags of them for 50 cents because they looked dead. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if this is going to work or not. And so I had put some Amazon boxes on the ground and some compost and some dirt from the area and some straw and more. And I just laid it a couple of times and I stuck those bulbs in there and I gave it some water and I said, well, it'll either do something or it won't. And I didn't think it was going to do anything. I never saw anything. And then one day I go out and there's one little asparagus sticking out of the ground. I went, oh, it worked. They grew. One of them grew. So I left it alone. And then the next year, it said 3 years, right? Well, the next year, there's like 5 of them, and one of them looked tender and yummy. And so I picked it and I ate it right there. And Wendy was with me, and it was good, and she loves asparagus. So she had a piece, and I had a piece, and we just stood there and ate it. And that was so nice. And then the next year, there's a whole bunch. And I just like this. I thought it died this winter because we had a kind of weird winter. I thought it died this winter, and the the weather changed, and there it was. And I was like, well, I missed it. So I let it all go to seed. So it's just growing. It's just doing its own thing over there. It's happy. So that's asparagus from this area. Josie, I like three uppercase Q's, but I did see that you used an uppercase Q, and so my eye noticed it. If we'd been really busy, I might not have. So that's why I do the three. Why don't I like shampoo? Read the ingredients on the shampoo, then ask me again, okay? It's the ingredients, all the chemicals and chemical ingredients. I just don't like them. The more natural stuff, the better we are. Just like they say with food, pick stuff that you can read. And if you can't read it, why are we doing it? So that's 847 Global. I lost my farm a few years back, but I will homestead again soon. Well, good for you. If that's your goal and what you want, you just consistently make steps in that direction and you'll have what you need. Come on. I mean, honestly, I've been low income most of my life, even though I worked for IBM. I had 1 year when I made $38,000. Big deal. Um, but if you consistently make turtle steps toward your decision, toward your goal, make your vision board. What was it? Oh, I was having a conversation with Leanna the other day. I actually was at Leanna's house recently. And and I was having a conversation with her and she said, "Yeah, and you talk about vision boards and that made so much sense to me." And I was like, "Well, Leanna, do you realize that anything you own is your vision board? Because every time you look at it, it tells you something." And she was like, "You need to talk about that online." So here we go, Leanna. Okay. So, yeah, do vision boards. They help. But just remember the things you choose, the clothes you choose, the color you choose, the pet you choose, the wallet you choose, right? The coffee cup you pick. They're your vision board, as well as the picture hanging on your wall, if you have one. The little tchotchke sign that you put up, that I have one inside that's magnetic and it says, well, it's not magnetic, but it's metal and I had magnets close by. It says, "Be inspired." Those things talk to you. They remind you every time your eyes pass them. Be inspired. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't forget to do that. I'm like, mm-hmm. So I used to do vision boards that were just vision boards, and I still kind of sort of do in places. Because it's helpful. It helps you get closer to your goals. But the things that you repetitively notice and your eyes touch on every day, they tell a story to you. And that story is the thing you end up focusing on. So let's focus on the things that get us closer to whatever our individual goals are. And they're going to be different for everybody. My goal's not yours. I've been through the working on wolf farms and being a house sitter or a dog sitter in order to have housing to go visit a foreign country. I've done that. I've been the nomad in a van. I lived in a van the first time in 1978. Okay. It wasn't a new idea even then. The hippies were doing it, the bohemian people were doing it. This stuff isn't new, okay? But so my goal with this piece of property is not to have a big homestead. Some people want that. They want horses and pigs and chickens and a farm and a I don't want that. I've done that. I don't want that much work. I want a place where I feel safe and safe enough that when I'm ready to, I can drive where I want to go. I can visit somebody. I can go hop on a train and go on a trip. I can go get on a plane and go to another country if I want to. I can drive to South America if I want to. That's what I want, right? I had the goal to become debt free again because I made a mistake COVID year and I decided to take out a loan because the world was going to end. Mistake. I shouldn't have done that. But you know what? I just recently became debt free again. Yay. So, um, I'm debt free. You know, yay. But it took consistent turtle steps. I showed up every day. Every day that I put my focus on money, that focus reminded me that I'm aiming for debt free. I'm not making a decision to buy something that's going to be a loan. I'm not doing it. I'm not loaning. I'm not borrowing. Don't do, don't, people come to me and say, here, just take this. You can pay me back later. No, it doesn't fit. The vision board I got hanging in the house, it doesn't fit the goal I'm aiming for. It doesn't work for me. So that's a piece, right? And when I say turtle steps, um, I I mean baby steps are too big. So if I just lift my foot off the ground today, I'm making progress. Tomorrow I can kick it forward an inch. I'm making progress. In 3 days, it'll be forward enough that I can set it down. Okay? It's slow motion baby steps. They still move you forward. So I have been, as I'm going through the cabin, I'm not ready to show you what's going on um, in the cabin right now. It's really cleaner than it was. But as I'm going through and finishing up some of these things that I'm working on right now, um, I'm making decisions about what to let go or what to sell based on does it fit who I want to be. And so I'll keep the 100% cotton shirt because it's getting me closer to a goal I've had for years, okay? Of not wearing of no, of wearing natural fabrics, okay? So I'm keeping the 100% cotton shirt, but the shirt that's mixed with polyester, I'm putting it in the donate pile. If I don't touch it in a couple of weeks, then it'll get donated. And when I choose to replace it, I'll replace it with a natural fiber. We're making sense, right? So I bought a new pair of the same old shoes I've had, a new pair of Jumra shoes. I decided not to get zero shoes this time. Um, and when I bought them, I'm aware that they've got Vibram soles that are plastic on, basically plastic on the bottom, that they're made out of stuff, right? So I bought on purpose, I bought another pair of new darn tough wool socks to go with the new shoes. So when I wear the new shoes, instead of being barefoot in them like I have for years, my other ones, I'm now going to wear the wool against my feet so that my skin is touching the natural fibers, but my foot is protected by the Vibram sole and the shoe, which is not natural fibers. But for right now, that fits my budget and this will work. I also, I did order myself a wool bra. It should be waiting for me at the post office. I should get it this week. So I am beginning to do those things. And how am I able on $1,000 a month? Because I worked so hard. For how many years has it been since COVID happened, to become debt free? And so now I can do these couple of things. I can't do much because I still got a couple of projects here, and I need to pay my handyman guy, Jess, that comes to help me. And he'll barter a little bit with me, but I've got to, he's, we're working together on this. He knows what I need, and so we're working on it. But and you know, my water delivery was $150. So you, it's not horribly expensive to get water delivered. It's cheaper if you can go get it yourself, but I have a tracker. That's not happening. So I paid somebody, and that water will last a long time. So okay. Whew, let me go back and check uppercase Q's so I can speak to whatever you've talked about. 847 Global was working on building high tunnels to be self-sufficient and organic produce farm, yet ended up having a different thought for me. I call those curveballs. You know, in baseball, you think the pitcher is going to pitch the ball right at you so that you can hit it with the bat, and every once in a while the pitcher throws you a curveball. Well, life throws us curveballs, is the way I say it. 847 Global. You are still young. You will have everything you desire. Maybe not everything I desire, although I just keep changing my desire over to, I say it often when I'm talking to the great creator. I say, hey, look, please make my will turn it, you know, become your will. Because who knows? I don't know. Um, 847. My life has been crazy my whole life. Sometimes that's the way it is. 847 Global. How many gallons do you get for 150? I got 900 gallons for actually $143 delivered. Was 900 gallons. This is a new guy that came out here and decided he was going to do that. I gave him a couple of tips about how he could do an even better service for newbies out here. We'll see what happens. So, all right. I'm wanting to get a drink. We've been about an hour and a half. Um, Any more questions or comments you need me to read? Please put 3 uppercase Q's and I'll read your comment. 847 Global. I don't call it a curveball. I call it government co-intel pro and corporate espionage. Well, there is that. But I still say that since the great creator has got it all under control, maybe he's doing something we don't understand. And if that's the case, it just is a curveball for us, right? So, whatever. All right, guys. I think y'all have a wonderful Father's Day. Some people do things. Ah, 847 Global. I was targeted for a company I built. Okay, well, you know, I know people who have been targets or experimented with, and I get it. Um, but I think I'm going to get ready and go. Kind of tired of sitting here, but if I move around, I lose the signal right now. The crazy dino. This year I'm going to the 7th grade and I'm nervous. Can you give me some advice? Because when I was in the 6th grade, a lot of people hated me in my class. You think I'm going to be able to? Oh, Mary, LOL, your rocker is squealing again. I kept looking for a strange bird here. Yes, I need to get the WD-40 out again. It is. It squeaks. I heard it the other day. I was like, oh, I gotta fix that. Um, you go into the seventh grade and you're concerned and scared. Um, I was scared when I was going to seventh grade. For me, the change from sixth grade to seventh grade meant that we got bused to a different town, to a different school. And so it wasn't just going to be us kids we were used to. Now there was going to be four times as many kids, and we were going to be quite a ways away from home. And it was scary, really scary. I don't know if you remember how scared you were when you first went to kindergarten, but remember, it passed. You were really, really, really scared. And then you went to school and you came home and you went, oh, I can go back tomorrow. It's the same way with seventh grade. You're going to be scared. And it's okay. Embrace the scared. Just go with it. You're scared. You don't know what's going to happen. Just like when I get on an airplane to go to a foreign country, and I don't know whether they're going to look at my income and go, we don't want you to come here because you don't make enough money. You know how many times I thought that before I got to the border crossing? And then you hand the guy your passport and he goes, oh, Americano. And you go, oh, great. Now what? Because you don't know what they're thinking, right? It's the same thing. It's scary because you don't have control over it. And so, just be scared and go anyways. Do the stuff the few days before that will make you as least scared as possible. So make sure you look the way you want to look that makes you feel the happiest. You took a bath and I don't know what, right? You're wearing the clothes that make you feel your best. You're as prepared as you can be. Talk to your old friend from last year, right? And just go and talk to your parents if you have them around and just say, hey, I'm scared, but I'm going to be scared and I'm going to do this. Will you got me if I come home and I still need to cry or I need to be upset because it's scary? Will you hug me, but don't let anybody see it? And will you make me my favorite cookies? Will you, I don't know, get me a milkshake? And I don't know. I'm full of things. But do those things and have a plan for what's going to help you be okay when you get home. What's going to help you to relax when you get back home. So for me, that would be when I come back, I want to make sure I got an icy drink. So let's make sure there's ice. And for me, it's iced coffee because I just love iced coffee. So I'm gonna have iced coffee, and I'll have instant coffee that I can mix up easy. And or I'll have it all mixed. Maybe I'll make it ahead and just put it in the cooler or refrigerator. Yeah, that's a good idea. Make it ahead. Have the bowl of ice cream ready. Have the frozen blueberries and the cream to put on top of them. Have it in the fridge so that when you come home, you can make a little snack. Just sit there and just go, oh my God, so much happened. Because the day after, you'll feel all different. It'll be okay. So, and there's this thing about people hating you. You can't control that. People are going to hate people. You can't make everybody love you. But you can be the best person you can be for yourself. And it's not easy. And sometimes that means you got to kind of stay by yourself. But you know what? it's okay. It really doesn't hurt. It's not fun. I mean, sometimes I wish I could be the cool kid too. But in one group, I am the cool kid here on Sunday mornings. In other groups, I'm not the cool kid. And so what? If I really wanted to be something else, I could probably make it happen. But what's the point? I'm pretty cool the way I am. I don't know. I hope I've been helpful. I tried. Let's see. Have a great day. Thank you. Looking forward to next time. Thank you. Uh... Okay. So, next week, same bat time, same bat channel. We will carry on. Y'all have a great Father's Day for whatever that is for you. Um, Jason, if you or your family were watching, I haven't forgotten the year that you sacrificed your Father's Day to come up here and camp out with me and help me finish getting the roof and the windows and doors on this cabin. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for your help. And so thank you again. And you guys have a great one. Have a good week. Later. Oh, and Mary, I'll try to remember and lubricate the shocks on the rocket chair. Ciao. Have a good week, everybody.